You know, not a lot of people pull that off.
Yeah, man, 10 years in this shit, man, you know what I'm saying?
Congrats.
Looks like Soulja Boy is back on our radar after his brush with the law. With his new deal with Virgin Music already set in stone, the rapper is celebrating with Came From the Bottom, his latest single. Now, where have we heard a similar title like this before? Known for his bizarre side projects and endless amounts of mixtapes, Soulja first came into the limelight when his single got about 14 million views on YouTube. Then, he wanted to create an affordable game, except it was a complete copy of another popular console. Today, the rapper has millions of subscribers on his YouTube page, with even more followers on Instagram and Twitter. Now he is ready to introduce himself back into the music scene, and we thought it would be a good idea to get you up to date on the current events in his life. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. From his short-lived fame to his crazy high-tech ideas, here's a recap of where Soulja Boy is right now. Let's take it from the top, tricking fans into getting popular. Have you ever wondered how catfishing really started? Well, it looks like it was Draco that officially made this a thing, even in the music industry. We know how difficult it is for most rappers and hip-hop artists to get that much desired fame, and it was no different for Soulja Boy. The rapper, whose real name is DeAndre Cortez Way, made his way to the top through an ingenious marketing idea, and we have no choice but to stan. It all happened on the torrent sharing app known as Limewire. Although it obviously doesn't exist anymore, the 2000s kid would remember it for that platform where they consumed new music from their favorite artists. So, at just 16 years old, Soulja Boy came up with the idea of uploading his music on this app, except with a different title. So, you could search for music by Taylor Swift or Michael Jackson, and you wouldn't know that you were actually downloading Soulja Boy's single, Crank That. You wouldn't find out until you press the play button. Despite how sneaky this was, many people didn't mind after all, since they quickly fell in love with the music. The song made its way to YouTube in 2007, and even the video was a major hit back then. Since fans didn't mind being tricked into downloading the rapper's hit track, it continued to grow in popularity. By May 2007, the teenager had gotten rewarded with a deal with Interscope Records. The single Crank That eventually made its way to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 and spent a whopping 7 weeks on that spot. You would even remember the viral dance challenge that came around thanks to this song. It was everywhere for months. So are we really surprised that Crank That was the first American song to sell 3 million digital copies by 2008? It seemed like Soulja Boy had become the typical internet sensation overnight. He even went to work on documenting his success story on self-made websites and his social media pages. But was what he did exactly legal? He did trick people into buying his songs using the names of already established artists. Well, you can see that the legal line is super thin, and he barely got away with it. Unfortunately, he couldn't keep the fame around for long, and we will talk about that shortly. Soulja Boy's moved to the bottom. Soulja Boy's first studio album was also a certified commercial hit. Although most critics didn't expect it to be that successful, it was, and continued to be for the next few years after that for the rapper. He even created a website, SouljaBoyTellEm.com, where he encouraged people to upload certain videos on the platform. However, you could say that his second and third albums weren't as successful as the first. By the time he released the third album in 2007, about 5 million fans were his audience on Say Now, which is an app that is now defunct. It was pretty much the Twitter of that era, since superstars could communicate with their fans for music promotions. But soon after his challenge went viral, Soulja Boy's popularity in the industry began to drop drastically. A new wave of young rap artists was taking over, and his music couldn't compare with them. Even his friend, Lil B, was part of this digital age upgrade, and the rapper began to look for other ways to remain relevant. So what did he do? Soulja Boy decided that it was a good idea to stay in the news by selling his Twitter engagements. He asked his fans to pay $2 to earn a follow, $3 for a shout out, and $4 for a retweet on the app. Remember how Soulja Boy always stays on the legal thin line? Well, this was one of those situations. Still, he didn't get that much backlash for this anyway, and it worked. The rapper kept releasing music to continue his relevance in the industry. In a short time, he had several singles and features, 6 studio albums, 14 EPs, and more than 60 mixtapes, diving into many side hustles. Releasing lots of of mixtapes could only work as long as people were enjoying them and it kept their attention. But Soulja Boy's music didn't do that for long, so he turned to other business ventures. This hip-hop artist doesn't exactly make good choices, and even his business sense could be considered questionable. Anyway, in December 2018, Soulja Boy launched his website, SouljaWatch.com and SouljaGame.com. He was diving into the world of gaming consoles, and SouljaGame.com was where users could buy handheld and classic games, but something was terribly wrong. Soulja Boy's gaming consoles looked suspiciously like the Nintendo console. We're not talking about just a few similarities, but a major copycat of this already existing console. 0 points for originality. Even worse, the consoles had more than 3,000 Nintendo game titles in them, including versions of Super Mario World, Legends of Zelda, and Pokemon. Of course, there was no way he could get away with such outright copyright violations, but the rapper thought that he could. His store even offered Soulja Pods, which were all knockoff versions of what other brands had created, especially Apple. So, as you can imagine, the fallout was fast and brutal. Within a few weeks, Nintendo was on board with threats to Soulja Boy to cease and desist. He had no choice but to pull all his products, including the consoles, from the market. The products disappeared, but some people also claimed that their money wasn't recovered as well. Imagine paying for a cheap knockoff and still not getting it. Although Soulja Boy claimed that no one was swindled out of their money and they were all rumors, it still wasn't a good look on him or his brand. Jail time comes knocking. Not long after this episode with the questionable business venture, jail time came knocking for Soulja Boy. In 2019, he earned himself 240 days in prison. But it wasn't because of his Soulja game ideas. The authorities discovered that he had faked evidence about completing his court-mandated community service. And this is a big deal. It started from an incident in 2014 where he was with a loaded firearm in public, and he wasn't meant to be with one as he was on probation. Is anyone really surprised that the rapper is capable of doing something like this? So the judge reinstated his probation with him serving time at the county jail. Thankfully, Soulja Boy got out 5 months early due to good behavior, and was already performing at events within a few weeks of his release. He did have a close brush with death in 2020 when his car got caught in a mudslide while driving on the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu. That only got him to get more serious with his different side hustles. What Soulja Boy is up to now. So what's the rapper up to now? Well, Soulja Boy decided to start with some physical transformation. Known for the numerous tattoos on his face, the rapper got every single one of them removed because he has plans to work in film and television. I think we can all agree that he looks way better without the tattoos sprinkled all around his face. And now, Soulja Boy is taking the sale of detergent really seriously. Yeah, you heard that right. Apparently, the whole thing with the global health situation got him thinking that this was a great idea. And with the dollar signs sticking out in the air, he made a move to invest in his personalized company called The Soap Shop. It's actually crazy that the detergent comes in various flavors, like coconut and strawberry. Definitely strange since no one is planning to eat the detergent. When the rapper is not busy with his detergent shop or looking to make pitches in the media industry, he likes to pick up fights. Recently, there has been a lot of back and forth on Twitter between Soulja Boy and WWE superstar Randy Orton. Who would want to challenge the Viper? Soulja talked about wrestling being fake, and Randy was there with a snarky response. Who knows? Maybe Soulja was looking to secure a celebrity spot on the wrestling show, but we think that has been taken by the likes of Logan Paul and Bad Bunny. Besides, Randy Orton is clearly busy with more worthy opponents in the wrestling ring. The idea of Soulja Boy standing a chance against Randy Orton is downright ridiculous, but so are a lot of things that the rapper has been up to throughout his career. It looks like the rapper isn't done with the handheld console market just yet. His first attempt went so well that the rapper thought it was a good idea to get right back into it again. It was super controversial the last time, and many people wouldn't be willing to drop their hard-earned cash for another ripoff. But let's not dismiss his ideas just yet. Now that we're all caught up on where Soulja Boy is right now, we can keep watching to see what his next move will be. And there you have it. Here's all you need to know about what Soulja Boy is up to right now. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and that's a wrap. Thanks for watching.